milk. It's consumed on every continent. And if you live in the Middle East, there is a good chance it comes from here. Almarai's massive factory in Saudi Arabia.
Some days you don't believe what is actually moving and what is actually going on around you. The place is so big.
In this mega factory, it gets bottled by the millions. But it's not just milk. Yogurts, cheeses and juices fly through these massive production lines. This factory is packed to the ceiling with high-tech equipment.
I come to work and I play with my big toys.
To deliver milk on this huge scale, you need mega factories. The world consumes over 500 million tons of dairy products each year. And one of the largest players is Almarai in Saudi Arabia. Its name and products are known around the Middle East. One of the best sellers that leaves this mega factory is good old-fashioned milk. How much? The equivalent of 10 million glasses each and every day. And to do that, it needs a lot of cows. 135,000 to be exact. On average, each cow in this giant herd produces over 13,000 litres of raw milk annually. And amazingly, all of this happens in the deserts of Saudi Arabia. The main farms and processing facilities are located in Al-Kharj, roughly 80 kilometers southeast of the capital, Riyadh. In 1977, Almarai started processing fresh milk. They began with 300 cows. Today, the herd is 450 times that size.
احنا بدأنا كشركة ألبان صغيرة أو بسيطة جدا. بالرؤية الواضحة انتقلنا إلى شركة غذاء، نصنف أنفسنا اليوم كشركة غذاء من الأكبر أو الأكبر في العالم العربي ومن الأكبر في العالم.
Now the processing operation has been centralized, and two massive 268,000 square meter factories shoulder the daily load. And feeding into those two factories is milk from 6 super farms, covering over 82 square kilometers of the surrounding desert. Inside these 6 mega farms, Almarai have the most popular producers of milk on the planet. Holstein cows, Holsteins descended from Holland and were exported around the world due to their high milking rates. The herd at Almarai are able to produce more milk than other breeds of cattle.
In order for us to be able to achieve the yields that we do on this farm and in the company in general, we have to look after these cows as if they were our own pets.
These cows are well fed, given lots of water, and are kept comfortable, all of which helps with their milk production. These mega farms produce an amazing 2.5 million litres of raw milk every day. But before they can produce milk, they need to give birth. With no males on the farms, artificial insemination is used to impregnate the females. The lineage with the highest milk producing rates are used. The cows are carefully monitored and the inseminated ones are marked so they can be checked for pregnancy in 35 days. Over 200 calves are born on these mega farms every day. That's one every 8 minutes. Because of the volume, they have a veterinary unit with a staff of 30 who serve as bovine midwives.
طبعا نحن الآن في عنبر ولادة. هذا العنبر تقريبا يحتوي إلى 150 إلى 250 بقرة طبعا في الأشهر الأخيرة من الحمل وجاهزين للولادة. طبعا تكون الولادة خلال على مدار 24 ساعة طبعا تحت إشراف فنيين.
A birthing can happen in just minutes. A newborn calf can see immediately, and within 30 minutes it will be able to stand on its own.
كانت الولادة طبيعية طبعا، فنحاول إحنا نبعد البيبي عن الأم خشية عنه إيش إنه يداس عليه أو يصاب بضرر طبعا، ومن ثم نقوم بتنظيف العجر خاصة مجار الهواء، ونقوم بتنظيفه وتدليكه طبعا، وبعدها طبعا يكون اللي هو إيش النيفل ديب، تعقيم السرة بالأيودين.
A Holstein calf weighs around 40 kilos at birth. Each day's newborns stay together in holding pens for a few days so they can be watched over before being moved into growing areas. Every day for the next 2 years, these calves will be fed a diet filled with protein to help them grow. When they are full size, they will weigh 700 kilos and stand almost 1.5 meters tall. Cows of different ages are fed unique diets tailor-made to maximize their growth. The herd eats 4 times a day. And feeding this many cows at mealtime is a massive challenge. The 12 giant mixing machines on this farm churn out 1,200 tons of feed every day. With high levels of protein, alfalfa is a key ingredient. One mixer takes 8 minutes to blend enough for a single meal for 600 cows.
Every day we would bring in off our storage area 340 tons of alfalfa, and that would be processed through these mixers on a daily basis to feed all of the stock on the farm.
The alfalfa gets mixed in with cottonseed, maize, soybean and cornflakes and other concentrates.
This is a special premix which we mix every night. We mix 110 tons every night.
The exact proportions are a company secret, and it's all based around years of diet research. It helps the cows maximize milk production. As these mixers churn the feed, a fleet of 45 trucks waits below to bring each finished batch to the thousands of hungry cows.
Oh, it is an incredible amount of feed. It's an incredible amount of work too to get that done.
Depending on the food mix, the trucks will then go to feed the adults or the younger calves. They eat around 50 kilograms of feed a day. And it needs to all be timed with military precision.
طبعا عادة الأبقار الهولستاين يفضلون الروتين، فأي معدل في أي تغيير في الروتين، في أي حال تغيير في الروتين طبعا يأثر على أنتاجية الحليب. بعد ما تنتهي فترة التغذية ساعة تقريبا يذهبون إلى المحلب لتتم عملية الحلب.
And once all that milk gets pumped, it heads for the factory. At this mega factory, the milk will go from the silos through to processing, labeling and filling. But first, the bottle needs to be made here, in the blow moulding area. And those hardy plastic milk bottles are made right here on site. They are made from high-density polyethylene, or HDPE for short. Small plastic beads. It's one of the most widely used plastics in the world, used to make grocery bags, pipes, and even toys. It is perfect for milk bottles because its polymers are light, hard to break, and long-lasting. Over 12,000 bags of these tiny beads are turned into nearly 400,000 bottles every single day.
نستخدم في السنة 45,000 طن من مادة البوليثيلين على الكثافة.
From the loading bin, they are sucked through pipes into a blending machine, which mixes up to 250 kilos of the pellets with recycled plastic. This all gets fed into a 15-ton blow moulding machine where the plastic is melted at 190 degrees. The soft plastic is then blown into a metal mold that shapes each container. Every 8 seconds, a new line of bottles hit the conveyor belt. Before they can be filled, the excess plastic needs to be trimmed.
فبعد عملية التبريد تأتينا العلبة بالزوائد. فالزوائد جزء من الماكينة يتم إبعاد الزوائد من العلبة ويتم إعادة تدويرها من جديد. وكل المراحل هذه أوتوماتيك. يعني الريسايكل يتم عملية طحن المواد من جديد وإعادة تدويرها إلى الماكينة.
Every 3,500 bottles trimmed generates 160 kilos of plastic. That excess plastic goes back into the blending machine to be melted again. Now that they have the desired shape, it's time to test them. Each bottle gets checked for leaks. Rubber pads grip the top of the bottle and the air is sucked out. A sensor detects any holes and the machine automatically sends rejects to the recycling bin.
الجهاز هذا يعمل على ملاحظة إذا وجد أي فتحة.
Now that these milk bottles are ready, and with millions of customers waiting, just how do they get the milk from the cow to the bottle? Here in the deserts of Saudi Arabia, the Almarai mega factory works around the clock to make millions of products that are distributed throughout the Middle East. A dairy herd of 135,000 Holstein cows produce 2.5 million litres of milk a day. To get that level of production, these cows need to be kept comfortable.
Once the temperature rises above the body temperature of the cow, which is between 38 and 40 degrees, it causes heat stress. Now, once that temperature is above the animal's temperature, we lose production.
So they came up with a solution. Air conditioning units to spray a cool mist throughout the sheds.
This system of cooling is known as evaporative cooling. It sprays a mist onto the cows and then evaporates heat from the animal.
Now the cows have been fed, relaxed and cooled. It's time for an udder clean. A 9-minute automated cow wash makes sure manure and any bacteria is removed. As they move towards the milking parlour, a series of pipes blow air towards the udders to dry them. A damp udder increases the chance that bacteria could infect the sterile milking machine. Finally, the cows head for the milking parlour. Here at the mega farm, it's milking time. Using an automatic system, they can extract the milk at lightning speeds. In this parlour, 300 cows can be milked at a time.
لمدة 4 حلبات في اليوم لمدة 6 ساعات. كل 6 ساعات بغرق مش المحلب تحلب مرة واحدة.
With so many cows, it's important that none are forgotten about. Each cow has a microchip in its left leg that tracks its every move to a control room, which also monitors its performance.
ميزة هذه الشريحة الموجودة أنها مسجل فيها رقم البقرة، بالإضافة إلى يوجد مغناطيس داخل الأرض متصل بغرفة التحكم تعطي كم لتر في كل حلبة ويحدد موقع البقرة الموجودة هنا.
These milking devices mimic the action of a suckling calf. The pulsation forces the milk to come out faster. This whole process takes just 12 minutes, and one cow can produce up to 90 litres of milk a day. That means every day they produce over 2.5 million litres of milk from the 6 mega farms. That's nearly 400 glasses of milk per cow. After each milking, the udders are sprayed to prevent any bacteria from causing infection. Directly underneath the milking area, all of the pumped milk is first filtered through these valves to clear any debris. It then travels along a sterile pipe to a holding area where it is chilled to 3 degrees Celsius so no microorganisms can grow. The chilled milk is then pumped into 4 steel holding silos, ready for transport. Within hours, it's loaded onto refrigerated tankers that can hold 30,000 litres. 30 minutes later, and the truck is leaving the farm. Not before passing through a disinfectant shower, used to stop possible foot and mouth disease outbreaks. It's a 30-kilometre journey to the 2 processing plants, and this is where the real action begins. Every day, up to 80 tankers deliver raw milk into these unloading bays.
في عندنا 4 مناطق يتم ضخ كل ساعة 100,000 لتر. طبعا عملية الضخ تستغرق في كل تانكر 20 دقيقة.
From here, the milk is pumped through 10 silos that hold 1.8 million litres of milk. Before the raw milk heads to the plant, it's first checked to make sure no water has diluted the batch. From here, the milk gets separated. Some heads off to make yogurts and cheeses. But 30% stays as good old fresh milk. Before it's good enough to drink, it first needs to go through a series of processes to ensure the quality. And that happens in the pasteurization room.
عندنا ما يقارب 12 باسترايزر و10 سايلوات لاستقبال الحليب. ومن السايلو نبدأ نسوي لها عملية البسترة اللي هي تمر على الهومو ذن البسترايزر اللي هي بدايتها تكسير الفات في الحليب.
The raw milk first needs to be mixed together or homogenized. To do that, the milk goes through a network of pipes, sensors and temperature gauges to make sure both the quality of the milk and its consistency are uniform.
طبعا الأجهزة هذه لا يخفى عنها شيء، أي مشكلة تواجهنا أو أي شيء يظهر عندنا في الكمبيوتر، وهذه يتحكمون في كل شيء، وكل شخص له مسؤول عن بسترايزر معين هو اللي يقوم بعملية بسترة الحليب، هو يضخ، وكلها عن طريق التحكم بالجهاز هذا.
Next, the milk needs to be pasteurized. It's piped through heated plates that quickly raise the milk's temperature to 78 degrees, killing harmful bacteria and extending the life of the milk. First, the newly made bottles need to be put in a single line, ready to be labelled. This 30-metre-long conveyor belt moves at variable speeds, so if there is a blockage in the filling section, the bottles can be slowed down here. Every hour, one roll of labels will go onto 16,000 bottles.
في هذه العملية يتم تغليف العبوات البلاستيكية بحيث يتم إمرار البلاستيك التجاري إلى الماشين، ومن ثم تتم عملية التغليف كما نرى هنا، ومن ثم يتم إمرار العبوات البلاستيكية إلى خط التغذية.
Moving along the grip conveyor, the bottles make their way to the labelling machine. Each bottle is spun as the label is glued on. A brush smooths the label, removing any static electricity. But before any of these bottles can be filled, their caps need to be made.
طبعا القيمة الإنتاجية عندنا لنهاية اليوم بالملايين.
The caps are made from a similar material to the milk bottles. Again, the pellets are first put into a blending machine. Millions of pellets are mixed with dye. Today it's blue for full fat milk. The mix is heated to 230 degrees Celsius before being pushed into the mould cavities. With 32 cavities in each machine, they can produce over 17,000 caps an hour. When a box of caps is finished, it makes its way into the filling area, so each cap can be attached to a bottle. These caps, the milk and the 2-litre bottles then head down to the filling line. For the very first time, they are all in the same room, ready for action. Pipes run from the milk processing room, where the milk was pasteurised and homogenised, directly into the filler bowl. The chilled fresh milk will be held here until the bottles come through. As each bottle approaches, it first needs to be marked with the production and expiry dates. Pressurized ink droplets are deflected onto the outside of each bottle. Creating those date stamps. This machine dates over 70,000 bottles an hour. Next, it's time to put the milk in. As each bottle moves under the filler bowl, a mechanical lifter connects it to a nozzle, which starts the flow of the milk. It takes about 4 seconds to fill each bottle.
الطاقة الإنتاجية للحليب 15,000 عبوة بالساعة. تعبئة البطل وتغليفه يكون اوتوماتيكيا بدون استخدام أو تدخل أي استخدام يدوي.
60 bottles are filled in one rotation and they are immediately capped. A box of bottle caps is dumped into the cap feeder, which sorts them into order. In single file, the cap chute drops them down into place. Pressurized air pushes the cap onto the bottle, where upon contact, a spring dispenser attaches it automatically to the rim. The complete bottles move past inspection. Those with defective caps are removed manually. But they're not finished yet. Before the bottles can be packed, they are put through a water shower. This ensures that any milk that has dripped onto the bottle is cleaned off. With the bottles filled, how do you keep track of so many millions of products? The solution lies in an enormous storage facility. In the Almarai mega factory in Saudi Arabia, millions of litres of milk are processed every day. Thousands of bottles an hour are rushed along a conveyor belt into the packing room.
في هذه المنطقة هذه الخطوط النهائية للإنتاج. هنا تتعبى في الصناديق، تتوزع العلب في الصناديق، بعدها تنتقل إلى مرحلة تخزين.
The bottles are lifted into plastic crates that each hold 9 containers. The crates can arrive the wrong way around, so before they can be stacked, they need to be rotated so the whole stack won't topple over. Two crates at a time enter the pallet. Once it reaches 24 crates, it's ready to be picked up. Four automatic lifters send the pallets down the line and into the cold storage facility. This massive storage area needs to be kept cool at all times to keep the products fresh.
شغلة الثلاجة والمستودع البارد الكولد ستور، تخزين البضاعة، استلام البضاعة من خطوط الإنتاج.
Millions of products arrive at this 13,000 square metre cold storage facility every day. Split up into 3 sections, it can hold up to 235,000 crates. Here, speed is vital. Getting these fresh products from the cow to the doorstep needs precise timing.
بالنسبة للحليب في مدة صلاحيته اللي هو 4 أيام. هذا من تاريخ الإنتاج، تحمل جميع الديبوات على مدار 24 ساعة.
To keep the milk fresh, 30 giant air conditioning units keep the warehouse between 4 and 5 degrees. That's the same temperature as the container trucks. Every day, 150 of these 12-metre trucks head for depots across the region. But there are dozens of other product lines. Juices like orange, mixed berry, mango and apple are just a few. They get bottled as well, but these ones are different. The juice bottles are made of PET, or polyethylene terephthalate. PET is a type of polyester and is used to make a wide range of containers. First, these pellets are sucked into an injection molding machine to be turned into what's known as preforms. At this stage, only the lip of the preform resembles the final shape. Thousands of these arrive at the factory and are put into the preform loading unit, or the tipper. Each load of 15,000 of these tiny plastic preforms now start the molding process. As they fall, two rotating rollers flip them into single file order. They make their way across the ledge and into the molding machine. This high-speed blow molding machine will take these preforms and blow each of them into a bottle.
What we have here is Almarai's high-speed blow molding machine. We run about 15,000 of these every 20 to 25 minutes through the machine. That's about 600 bottles a minute. So it's extremely fast.
The rigid preforms first need to be made more flexible. At high speed, the machine spins them through a giant 200-degree heater, softening the plastic.
It comes down through here into the machine and then comes out a blown bottle. So we go from a preform, this shape, which is jelly-like, to a bottle, which is pretty rigid.
As the preform enters the molding machine, this is what happens. It's first loaded into the mold. Then, a metal rod pushes down and stretches the plastic. A blast of low air pressure expands the preform, followed by a high-pressure burst of air that inflates it to the correct size. Cold water then circulates through it, creating the ridged bottle shape. But the devil is in the detail. This bottle has more than meets the eye.
What you see here is example of the 200 ml bottle we make. To the average person, it's a PET bottle. But for me, when I look at it, I happen to see the leaf pattern. Now this leaf pattern is not only there for decorative, it serves a purpose. And what the purpose is here, believe it or not, is for strength. So we have one this side, and we have one here. This is to prevent the bottle being able to be squashed or the neck area to move. So when you undo your juice, this will give it strength. Quite cool.
The machine makes 36,000 bottles an hour, and the whole process is digitally monitored to make sure each bottle measures up. The ones that don't are recycled. The rest move on to the filling station. But not every product that leaves here needs refrigeration. Some dairy products go through an extra process that keeps them good for up to 6 months without chilling. And that is ultra-high temperature or UHT processing.
لأنه أسهل في النقل لا يحتاج إلى تخزين في نتيجة التبريد، أي أنه باستطاعة الإنسان أن يخزنه في درجة الغرفة العادية، فلذلك يقدر أن يستهلكه وهو أسهل من المنتجات الأخرى التي تحتاج إلى تبريد.
The UHT process starts with pasteurization and homogenization, the same as happens to fresh milk. But then it goes through this extra step to ensure it stays drinkable for longer. A machine rapidly heats the milk to 137 degrees, killing any bacteria. Once it has been sterilized, it is rapidly cooled to room temperature. And it's just that simple. The raw milk has been turned into UHT long-life milk. A sterile filling machine loads the milk into plastic cartons at a rate of 24,000 packs an hour. The cartons are then sealed, packed and palleted, but are then held for 7 days before being released. This gives the factory time to check each batch for bacteria. At the on-site lab, technicians check samples that have come from the factory. A team of 60 are not just checking the UHT milk, but products from all stages of the production line. They check the chemical and physical makeup to make sure it all makes the grade.
نضع العينة في جهاز الميلك سكان. هذا الجهاز يعطي نتائج خلال 30 ثانية، نسبة الدهون ونسبة المواد الصلبة الدهنية ونسبة اللاكتوز ونسبة الجوامد في الحليب.
The UHT milk gets sucked into the machine, where its makeup can be analysed. This batch passes the test. With this UHT batch cleared to go, it makes its way directly into a separate long-life storage facility. It's the first of its kind in the Middle East.
يعتمد على التشغيل الآلي، تشغيل لا يحتاج إلى موظفين كثير ومعدات، يتم تشغيله من غرفة التشغيل الخاصة في المستودعات. بالنسبة لتخزين البضاعة وتصديرها وكيفية الاستلام البضاعة وتدخيلها في السيستم.
This 7,700 square metre facility uses 5 stacker cranes that travel up and down the 22-metre high racks. 3 automatic operating systems tell the cranes where each arriving product needs to be stored and where each outgoing pallet needs to go next. With over 15,000 different holding blocks for products to hide in, this system needs to track every load. A unique barcode houses all of the specific information about each pallet. As a pallet gets moved, information is automatically updated through the system. An all-digital robotic system means nothing gets forgotten.
هذه الطبلية فيها 75 صندوق، وزنها 1000 كيلو. يتم ترحيل 1200 طبلية يومياً من المستودع. التحدي الرئيسي عندنا هنا في المستودع أن نحرص دائماً على أنه يتم ترحيل المواد إلى مراكز التوزيع في الوقت المحدد وحسب طلبهم بناء على الكمية والوقت والمنتج الصحيح.
Once a pallet has been assigned to one of 6 dispatch bays, the automated system takes it off the shelf and moves it to the conveyor belt. As it rolls down, each pallet is scanned and checked one last time before heading to its bay. Up to 10,000 pallets leave here each week. With the milk processed, bottled and checked, it is ready to head off to store shelves. With 65 regional depots throughout the Middle East, the next challenge is how to keep it perfectly fresh for the final leg of its journey. From these mega farms, millions of litres of milk make their way to the processing factories to be turned into hundreds of dairy products for consumers. But to make sure that the Almarai brand keeps ahead of the game, they are constantly researching to find new products.
Well, we have 2 levels of research. We have what we call the analytical research, which is basically the chemistry of food, and the other one is basically the sensory or the concept in terms of human senses research.
Here, a team of 16 full-time scientists oversees the development of every new product from idea to launch. This part is all about creativity and innovation.
Today we are here doing a new product development for a spreadable cheese, and here is the base mix where we have all the cheeses in the formulation and all the required functional ingredients.
The machines here operate as a small-scale version of the actual production facility. It gives the team a chance to experiment using the same processes used on the real lines. And that leaves less room for error. This cheese mix has gone through a full UHT and homogenization treatment as they attempt to find ways to make it easier to spread. Every product goes through intense scrutiny, and for this cheese, it's all about getting the mixture right.
The first challenge is getting the right recipe because cheese is quite a complicated product, and the product is intended for a 12 months life, so it has to all start with the recipe.
The cheese will be kept refrigerated for the next 6 to 10 weeks, so it can be tested. Before a new product hits the market, it needs to be taste tested. And that's what happens here. The panelists are trained to taste and then describe their reaction to an array of products. Today, it's a new type of mango juice, and the panel is trying to spot the differences between the old and new versions.
We do these tests quite frequently, mainly depending on whether we've made a significant change to the product, and we're not sure whether we can detect a difference or not.
Once the new product gets the all clear, it will go into mass production. And then it will hit the road, onto one of 65 regional storage depots across the Middle East. These depots hold thousands of products ready to fill the shelves. But first, they must quickly unload from the trucks ready for distribution. Because the majority of Almarai products are fresh, they need to stay refrigerated at all times. The products are immediately reloaded and are shipped out to stores. No inventory is here for more than a few hours.
الشركة تملك 3200 شاحنة. من خلال عملية التوزيع لعملائنا على مستوى الشركة نقوم بتوصيل ما مجموعه 10 مليون و100 ألف حبة يوميا إلى عملائنا.
From the farm to the processing plant, the final leg of the milk's journey is as impressive as its start. One vehicle leaves a depot every 6 minutes. Almarai twitters every year. That's the equivalent of 8 rice are responsible. This to a supermarket in Saudi Arabia is what the final step at every store is exactly the same everywhere these trucks stop. Drivers unload the products and they are put directly onto chiller shelves. And with that, the process is complete. From the cow to the supermarket shelf. That is how Almarai manufactures milk and other products for its millions of customers.